Hello, 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 my brothers and sisters out there in the land. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Your brother Tony is in the house. I hope that you all are doing well. We're gonna have a pretty good show tonight. Got a guest tonight. You all come on in. You come on in. Come on in. We're gonna try to get our guest in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I hope you brother and sister had a good day today. Come in and enjoy this particular show with your brother Tony that's in the house, and I got a special guest. I'm waiting for her to come in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. If you sit in the back, come close to the front, my brothers and sisters. We got a good show tonight. And I hope that you all are ready, because this is a very, very important show. It's a very, very important topic when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman. Angela, if you are out there, come on in. Sister, come on in. Come on in. Want to bring you in, sister? Come on in. Come on in. How you doing, my little sister Renee? How you doing, sister Mina? How you doing, mother? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on into the house. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, Angela. Come on in. Come on in. Okay, Angela, if you're out there listening, you may want to turn off your device and come back in. And what you may need to do, Angela, turn off your device and come back in so we can get into tonight's show. My brother and sister, I'm glad that you all are here. If this is your first time looking at the show, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship pertaining to that of a man and a woman that should be serious, that should commit, and should move towards the covenant part of the relationship. That's what I'm here for. If you believe in any other type of relationship, how you doing, Sister Flo? If you believe in any other type of relationship, how you doing, Evangelist Betty Johnson? I need for you to understand that my position is from God's position. Okay, Angela said she's going to try another phone. Go ahead, sister, try another phone. All right, all right. Now, the position that I believe in, my brother and sister, I believe in a position from a biblical standpoint. When I say a biblical standpoint, I believe strongly in a relationship between a man and God first, and secondly, a woman and God, and then God bring the man and woman together. That's the type of relationship I believe in. If you believe in anything else, my brother and sister, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But I'm going to see, can I bring Angela in? Okay, Angela, I'm trying to bring you in. I hope your phone work at this particular time, sister, so we could bring you on in. I'm trying to add you in. Angela, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Because I'm looking forward to getting with you on this particular topic tonight. Oh, by the way, my brother and sister, if you believe, Angela, you have declined. What you may have to do, Angela, is turn off your device completely. Turn it off and then send the invite again. I don't know what's going on. You got some type of technical difficulties, but you may have to, I'm going to see, hopefully I could bring you in. I don't know, would I be able to bring you in? I hope I could bring you in, Angela. I hope that I can. Come on in, brothers and sisters. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, Angela. We're looking forward to getting you in tonight. So these people, they want to hear what you got to say when it comes to relationships. Come on in, come on in, come on in, Angela. Anyway, my brother and sister, let me tell you this. As I was stated, if you believe in any other type of relationship, you have what is called free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. but I talk strictly about the relationship between a man and a woman that should be in a covenant type of relationship. That is what I'm here for. And tonight's topic, when my guest is able to come in, she having some technical difficulties. We are planning on discussing this very, very important topic. If you have children, my brother and sister, you know how very, very important it is when you have children, correct? And no one doesn't want to get into a relationship with someone when they have children, and it might be a clash between the children and the person that you choose to get in a relationship with. What we're talking about is a potential step parent. That's what we're talking about, a potential step parent. A step parent is someone that is not naturally the child's father or mother. Okay, Angela, I'm trying to get this invite. Again, I just hit the ad, and I hope that you could come on in. You may have to go into another part of your home or whatever, but I'm trying to add you in. I just accept your invite, so you could come on in, Angela. Hopefully you could come on in. Come on in. I'm trying to add you, Angela. That's what I'm trying to do. As I stated, my brother and sister, when it comes to children, children are very precious in the sight of God. Not only in the sight of God, my brother and sister, but a child should be very important to the mother and to the father. And if you're not with your natural, if you're married and you're not with your husband or wife, if you have children with someone other than if you're not married, it could get real sticky when it comes to someone that is not the natural. Angela, I don't know what's going on with you. I tried to accept you, sister, but for some reason, I was not able to accept you. You may have to move around, Angela, to another part of your home, which you may have to do whatever phone or whatever you got. You might have to turn it completely off. Once you turn it completely off, then you come in. That's what you may have to do. I'm going to see, possibly, can I help you somewhere? I don't know whether I can help you or not. Okay, Angela, I'm going to see, can I bring you in, okay? I just hit the button, Angela, and I'm going to see, can I bring you in? So if you see an invite from me, Angela, go ahead and accept the invite so I could bring you in, because we are very interested in what you have to say when pertaining to this particular topic. Now, my brother and sister, when it comes to children, we're going to look at it starting from Jesus' perspective, as it is written in Psalms 127, verse 3. Again, as it is written in Psalms 127, verse 3, it says, "Lo, children are a inheritance of the Lord God, and the fruit of the womb is his reward." When we go to Matthew, here comes Angela, you all. Here she come. How you doing, Angela? Here comes Angela.
Yeah, I had to get my son to help me some, cause he was saying, I needed the latest version of Facebook.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you. Thank you, son, for helping Angela. Can you hear Angela? Can you speak up a little bit while we're here?
Okay, let me see if my volume is turned up.
Okay. By the way, you all, this is Angela Bronner. She have been here a few times, and Angela have been requested by a few people. So, Angela, you got your star here in MGA, in the Mac town. Some people want to hear what you got to say. As I was saying, my brother and sister, back to Matthew 19, 4 through 15. It states that Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." And he placed his hand on their head and blessed them before he left. How you doing, Sister Marie Bass? And my sister Renee said, "Great to see you again." Okay, Andy, you ready? You ready to roll?
I'm ready. Can you hear me? Can you
I
hear
can
me
hear you.
now?
Can you all hear Angela? You may have to speak up a little more, but I can hear you. I can hear you, but I don't know whether everybody else can hear. Can you all hear Angela? Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear Angela. Yeah, they can hear you. You ready to roll, Angela?
Let me turn
Okay,
this
here we
down
go,
so I
Angela.
can. Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Angela. The topic we're about to talk about tonight is getting into a relationship with someone that have a child or children. This is what we're going to talk about. And you, brother and sister, if you want to be a part of this broadcast, go ahead and put your comments as Angela and I are talking, and we will make a comment on it. And I want you all to feel free. You can engage in the conversation that we're about to embark on tonight. Angela, when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, who do you think is more difficult when it comes, if you have a child? Do you think it's more difficult for the man to date or the woman to date? What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, I got two versions of that, married and single. Okay, married, I think it was me. And but matter of fact, I think it was me both ways. It was
Do you
hard
think
for
it's
me
difficult
to
for a man or a woman?
For a woman, depending on the relationship that y'all have and how the man feels concerning his children. Okay, on the other hand, if somebody's dating me, it's not difficult. I don't know about other women, and some women I've known, because I've heard from some of my brothers that it was difficult for them.
Why was it difficult?
As far as dating them and them not having control of their children, whether younger or older. Like I had one of my brothers, he had a situation wherein he was liking this woman, and she had children, and she had a couple of them with disabilities that she had adopted. When they go out, every time they go out, they calling on the phone, when you coming back. And it's like they control, what she's doing. And even when he's there, and the disrespectful talking, so but me myself, married and had stepchildren, it wasn't hard. I just had to be the more dominant one, as to let the mothers know what the deal really was. Because I actually embraced my boys, and they still my boys, even though I'm divorced. They still call me mama. Okay, because they was young. But coming from homes where one of them, the mom was locked up for selling drugs, the other one was on drugs. So it was, I guess it was a little bit, because I was concerned, because I love children, and I didn't want them to feel like I always brace them, even if they my girlfriend's children, that when they in my custody, they mine.
Okay, well, tell me this, Angela. When do you think a person should bring someone around their children? What's your thoughts on that? When should you allow someone to meet your children? As far as the woman go, what do you think? When should a woman allow a man to meet her children?
When they have established which way they are going, or if they are talking permanent. But as far as that's with younger children. With my older ones, it's a little different, because if I'm dating somebody, they gonna know, just like I'm gonna know who they dating, and that's for security purposes.
Security, okay. Well, how would you be able to know when a certain person should be brought around your children? How do you really, really know being a woman?
I feel like I did a little bit to being single early. And that's something that I recently had decided that I wouldn't do that unless we established something that made sure that it was maybe a little bit more permanent or close to it. Because it still can go either way when I feel like they have been truthful to me. But I had a situation wherein they knew my children. Because my girls knows it anyway. They gonna want to know who to go get. As far as my son, he pretty much laid back is whatever. You know what I'm saying? But he's very observant, being that he just turned 17. But he pays attention. He don't say much. He's
I'm
quiet.
I'm glad you said your son is laid back and he'll pay attention. I'm glad you said that because you triggered something. Like when a woman decides that she wants to introduce her children and this man together and they're not married, should the woman allow the man to go into her bedroom and shut the door?
Well, I'm just being transparent. I have even to have a discussion when it might have been, something I need to talk about. But that depends on too the situation and the relationship I believe you have with your children, if they know you. Um, and it just depends. Because I think a lot of us probably have done that. And I'm just
Hmm.
being transparent. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I
But
agree.
you know, but they would know um pretty much my children know me, what I have and what I don't have, you know. And we all sometimes we make those mistakes, true enough. And we shouldn't. But we live and learn, and even at this age right here, you know, dating is different when you do it. But him and his daddy and I, unless we talk to each other to where in anybody that I'm serious about dating, I am to I introduce them to my husband, my ex-husband.
Hmm.
And it's supposed to be vice versa, but he ain't good at his part. Okay. Because he's not being serious with no one. But we've gotten into altercations about, if you're not serious about this woman, when it's time for you, if y'all gonna spend time on the weekend, make that clear that this is my child's, and that's with anybody. This is their time, because I have had males to do that when it was their weekend to get their children. That's their designated time. I didn't get upset about it. I respect that he wants to spend that quality time with them instead of them calling you and you running here and you running there. It's not an emergency. This is my designated time for my child.
Okay, this the add-on part to going to the bedroom. Uh, I know you can't speak for every woman, but I know there are a lot of women. You listen to women and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When when is it a good time, if any, to allow the man to spend the night with the woman? What's your thoughts on that? From what you probably hear, is it okay to let a man spend the night with the woman when they are just dating?
With children, you mean?
Yeah, with children.
Um, I have had that to happen. Um, and see, a lot of time when I speak, I'm transparent. I speak for myself.
Yes, that's true.
So,
That's true.
um, I have, but see, my son understood the relationship as well. Okay, I have, but it doesn't mean that anything happened. It was just that it was late. You know what I'm saying? Or because I got a recliner in my bedroom. You know, and sometimes we might be watching something, you know, with profanity or something in there, and I might pull my door. Or either if he's gonna lay there, I don't want him to see that, so the door is closed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm gonna be transparent too, Angela. A while back, I have done that before, right? But the key thing was, and I'm just speaking for me. I'm just speaking for me. No other man, just speaking for me. When I done it, it was not when the children were small. Okay, when the children were small, when they like big teenagers and all that kind of stuff. I'm guilty. I have done it. When I look back, I should have not done it. When I look back, I should
Right.
not have done it. But at that particular time when I was younger, I did do it. However, when they were little children, like if it was a woman that she had some small children, I made it, if I went over to her house or her apartment, wherever she stayed at, I told her I was not going to be here in the morning when the children wake up. You know,
I did that too.
when the children wake up, I didn't want to be there when they wake up.
Yeah,
That
I
I
did
just
that with my baby, my oldest daughter. She was like 9 months when we started talking. And you know, I think we got married when she was finna, she had just turned 3. And you know, he would spend the night, but he would sleep on the sofa, one more sofa at, you know, because she liked to sleep with me. She didn't like her bed. But in that terms, you know, we did. But see, growing up, my children, all of them, you know, the only thing they remembered was married and mom and daddy. Because he accepted my daughter as his, and it was blended family. So he didn't have custody of his, but we did go and get them and let them visit or spend the night.
okay. Well,
But
tell
mm-hmm,
me this, Andrew. What about and I know you are aware of this. You have heard it. You probably know some people that do that. What about a person that, and I'm not beating on no woman, okay? Because to tell you the truth, there are double standards in the world when it comes to men and women.
right.
Women could do certain things, men could do certain things. It could be the same thing, but there are double standards. We're going to establish that there are double standards.
Right.
Now, if a woman is talking to several men, and several men are coming to visit her, what do you think probably going on in those children's mind when a succession of men are coming in and out? What you think going on in? Let's talk about the girl's mind and the boy's mind.
Well, I guess it depends on, you know, if it's an often thing. Cause see, most of my life I've had male friends versus female friends. You know, I've had more of them, and I do have one that may come over or do something for me every now and then. But it's not like they going anywhere. I mean, it's right here, come by the living room or just drop something off for me. But it's nothing to the factor like that. But me being, because you know I've been married a long time, but me
Mm-hmm.
being single, I don't do but one at a time. You know, I ain't, you know, I ain't rocking like that. I just turned double nickel. You know, I can't handle all that like I did when I was younger.
Okay. Well, tell me, Angela, if a person is in love, a person that have children, and that man or woman that is really deep in love with that person, and the child doesn't like that person. What do you think about that?
Well, when mine was younger, I paid that some attention. If
Mm-hmm.
because she was always particular. If she'll go to some people sometime, and because you got to know, most of the time, even when they're young and innocent like that, they pick up on spirits too. So if she didn't like somebody that I was seeing, she didn't care for her own daddy. But anyway, I'm talking about biological daddy. But she would stay with him for a little bit. But if she was really adamant on she wasn't going, I'm paying more attention to that person. And my children, now my son don't too much. I have to just get it out of him. But my daughters, if I ask them, they gonna display. Sometimes they don't say nothing, but if they really don't like something, they will say so. But not to the extent they let me. Well, you got to make that decision, or you deserve better than that, or something like that, or that's not, he not really your type, But I talk and I get to know somebody and let them down a little easy. But I had the situation as far as one that I was dating, never introduced after 3 years to him, even though I knew who the child was, the mama, but never introduced me to the child. And I'm like, but why? I'm not gonna harm him, I'm not gonna hurt him. But it made me think, okay, well, you must not really be serious, or some things that I've heard, you don't really have that control. And see, he knows that I'm that type of person that, I would be easy on and get a feel of them, but I'm not going to treat them no different. You're not getting away with stuff. We going to establish this, because it's not going to be, you're going to be unruly and disrespectful. That's not happening. Because see, even with the middle boy, because I got the baby boy, when he was younger, his mom was like, I can't get him to take out the trash. I'm like, who the doggone parent? So he had to end up staying with us for a while. So I told him to take the trash out. He sat down like I hadn't said nothing. I said, now I'm going to tell you this one more time. And I think he was probably about 8, 9. Because I'm not going to continue to tell you the same thing. We ain't doing this. I'm not your mama. Not that I called her name. I'm not using her name. Because, see, my boys are friends with me on Facebook, too. So, I say, I'm not her. So we not having that right there. I'm going to count to a certain amount, and you better get in there and get that trash and take it out the door. I'm going to tear your behind up. I said, boy, I don't care how big you is, how tall you is. I said, the taller you are, the closer I am to your behind. The only thing I got to do is swing. And they knew I meant what I said but see, they daddy was more like, I want to be your friend. No, you can do it to a certain extent, but I'm still the parent. Even today, with my daughters being grown, they know that. We'll laugh, joke, and say a little stuff, and sometimes they might, a word or something might come out, they be like, oh, Mom, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But I understand we having a dialogue, and I understand, they be with other people and something might slip, but they still have that respect for me, because I'm not playing it.
I see.
And see, today they're like, shoot, I'd be scared to say something. I ain't finna have you slap the mess out of me.
Yes, I could tell you this, Angela. I had 2 challenging experience. I'm gonna present case A
Scenario.
first. Yes, scenario A, then scenario B. Case A. Let me establish it. Most of the women that I have dated, when you get up in age and women you run into, more than likely that woman gonna have 1.5 children. It's just a fact. You know what I mean? Most of the time when you get old, they're gonna have 1.5. Okay. So in this one, in case A, it dealt with this particular young lady. I would see her, but I knew that her son did not like me. I knew it. Most of the women that I have seen that have children, I was pretty cool with the children, right? But everybody is not gonna gravitate to you. But
Right.
this one particular lady, her son, he would come in and he'll just talk to her like she'll say, well, say something. I mean, you disrespect. I said, don't do it. And it was obvious that he had a problem. And to tell you what happened, it was this guy friend of mine, Angela. We were talking, and we was talking, and he asked me who I was talking to, right? And I told him, and he said, who? And I said, and I told her, and he said, do she have this particular song? I said, yeah. You know her? He said, yeah, I know her. He said, her and I used to kick it. And he said, tell me, Tony, how are you and her son doing? Just tell me that. I said, what you mean? Just tell me, brother, how you and her son doing. And you know what? We was communicating, and I could start off with sentence, and he could finish it. So he had the same experience with this young lad that I had. Now we're going to go to Exhibit B, or Case B. That was this young lady. I was contemplating. We dated for several. We dated for a period of time, right? And I was contemplating on really certifying the relationship. Like when you run for president, you certify that the man, the president. So I wanted to certify the relationship, but there was this one issue. She had this beloved child, and when I say beloved child, I'm talking about a teenager. The teenager was very, very spoiled, right? And she would tell her mama, she was the mama wasn't the mama, right? So she wanted us to say I do, right? And I said, in order for us to say I do, I can't honestly say I do with you, but along your daughter is here. She said, why? I said, because it's going to be a clash. And she said, what you mean by a clash? I said, because how your daughter disrespect you, it's going to translate to me.
And it's gonna be brought up. She gonna use that for manipulation too. I know.
What she would do, what this young lady would do, a big teenager, her mom did work and her mama did all the housework. This young lady, she didn't want to do no housework enough. I said, you need to try to get your daughter to do some housework or something, because I said you taking care of her, right? And the girl, she would go in her bedroom, Angela, and she would lock the door. Her mama had to knock on the door to go in. Can you believe that?
No.
Her mama had to knock on the door to get in. But the bottom line on that situation, I said, in order for us to advance, I said, your daughter going to have to go to college or something for us to do it. Because I said, I tell you, I know myself. Because the thing about it is, if a child want to clash with you, I'm not going to say that because that's a child, she got a dad or whatever, But most children, if they get clashing with someone that's not their parent, the first thing they'll say, you're not my what?
Daddy.
You're not my daddy.
You're not my mama.
And what I knew, I told the lady, I said, I know me. If she say something like, you're not my dad, I say, knowing me, I would say, and I'm glad I'm not your dad. Because if I were your dad, you would do it this way or that way. So, needless to say, I went another direction. Now, speaking of not liking the person, what if you like the person, Angela, or a woman like the person, and they decide to actually say, I do, to certify the relationship?
Okay.
Let me back up a little bit. Who comes first before you say I do, when it comes to children and the person that you have got serious with and committed to, and you set your wedding date? Let's say you engage. Who comes first? The potential spouse or the children? Who comes first when you have actually got engaged? Who comes first? The potential spouse or the children?
The spouse, because he's already stepped into position. You see what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. But I was told, to be honest, And this been recent. And you know, I call myself, we've been knowing each other for, I think, about 5 years. It's going on 5 years. But, you know, I said, this is just something waiting to happen. But it was like God first, but his children were going to come first before me. I told him, see, we already got a problem in the atmosphere. And the situation was, I think I had mentioned this to you. He's of a different faith, whatever he believed, but I thought, okay, sometimes you have to look at something, is that for you or is it an assignment to bring them to Christ? Okay. So I'm like, you know, the way of speaking, and you know who usually speak, you can't dictate to me because I'm just not that type of woman. And because I take that as disrespect. Instead of us making decisions together and asking me how I felt about it, you telling me what it's gonna be like, and I'm like, oh shoot now, but shoot ain't what I said. You know what I'm saying? But it's not going down that way. And they, you know, I say, because I've heard of Christian, as I'm a believer, but I think he feels like, when you say Christian, I think he feels like it's religious. I'm not religious. And you know, I'm like, Lord, but do you want me to connect with him? Even if we stay friends, I'd be cool. To show him that you know, a different way of what we were brought up as. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just felt disrespected in that sense. You know, as far as you know that. And then I think his mom had talked to him about that too. But see, people don't realize when you get into a certain relationship, and that depends on the decision that I would make, Tony, is the best decision for me, depending on who I am. Not for, and it's going to be pretty much on a spiritual level, how we connect if I get with this person. And sometimes, and during this dating, I also realized that you can also be unequally yoked with a believer. It took me going through some changes, but I figured that one out too. But going into it, I would have to make that decision, not my children, especially if I got them up in age. Because what a lot of people, when they close, it's almost as if, I'm like, how is this happening to me? 2 men, and it seems like they married to them. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all done established a covenant yourself. Versus, where do I belong? I'm not gonna try to force myself to fit in nowhere. But you know, it was just ironic. I'm like, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? What you trying to tell me? Because if you married to them, you can't possibly be married to me. You know, when they get older and they start smelling themselves, so to speak, and getting with who they want, they ain't letting you tell them nothing. See, sometimes parents, when they see certain things, or just say like my son, he played tennis. Now, and I support him in usually things that he do. You know, and they see he can get a scholarship or whatever like that, they push. And you know how daddies is too when it comes to sports. Not all of them, but you know, some of them that want that right there, and they see. You can push them, and then the next thing you know, you don't spend all this money. You making an investment that might hurt your feelings later. Because you know children will change their mind, especially when they get around other people, and especially get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They might even change their mind and say, you know what, I go to vocational school instead of college ain't for me. I don't want to go to college. You know, they would disappoint you. So I'm saying at our age now, not younger, but at our age, you gonna be sitting up there probably by yourself and be done miss the best thing that could have happened to you because of your children. When it's time to live your life, I would not, especially if I feel like, and I done went to God and I feel comfortable with that, they don't have a say so. I'm the adult. I don't have to get permission from mama. I've been married before. Daddy, even though he ain't living. You know, my children, my sisters, my brothers, nobody. The only one I have to answer to is the one above.
I agree with that, Angela, but based on what I just asked you, as far as when you're about to get married to someone and you have children, you get a glimpse of what your position will be before you say I do. Because you establish a relationship, especially if you get engaged.
Right.
You're going to tell that person priority before you say I do. You see, when you say I do, some people think, oh, it's going to change, it's going to flip, right? But no. You get a pre-glimpse of what position you're going to be in based on that person's decision before you say I do. It's called that engagement period. You just one step into, before you say I do. So and I know this might not come well on some people's ears and stuff like that, but if a man and a woman is engaged, whether it's the man or the woman, that man and the woman mind process is supposed to be start thinking, we're about to get married and we need to move toward making a decision for how it's going to be. So for example, a man, if he had children, he love his children, especially though that I love my mother. Let me put that out there. I love my mother, but you got some guys that are mama's boys, right? And so it could be a clash of that man, quote unquote, loyalty to his mother and this potential woman, right? So if it's a problem, you see, it could be where the mother, she's so accustomed to having the son close to herself, right? And then this woman, then this woman coming in, and the mama, quote unquote, may feel threatened, and she might not on a subconscious level, but it reflected on a conscious level, right? So that man got to have sense enough to say, look, mama, I love you, but I'm about to get married, and especially when he gets married, that woman is his first priority before his mama and his children. The only person that precedes that man's wife is God himself. And it's supposed to be like that too. Now, just like you have some men that mama boys and they might put their children up and stuff, if a man if he's gonna struggle with getting married to a woman and he still got his mama at number one or his children at number one, he should not get married. Right. Vice versa. Now here goes something that's very tender. I just said about men and their mamas and their children right now. This is the big flip part for some of you sisters. Okay. Some of you sisters, you got to understand, when you are in the engagement period, about to get married, you get a glimpse of your decision making. You're gonna have to decide who get the big piece of chicken. Is it gonna be that man or the children? The children still gonna eat. I'm just making an illustration. So when the man and the woman get married, what position are her children then? When the woman gets married, what position would the man be in, Angela? If the woman married a man, who come first after God? Is it the man or her children?
The husband. It's automatic.
Why? Okay, Will, why is it so difficult for some sisters? When I say sister, I ain't talking just black women. I'm talking about a lot of women in general. Why so many women struggle with, and they could be big grown children. Why some women struggle about the position of the relationship with their children or whatever when it comes to the man? What's your
Well,
thoughts on that?
I can have more than one scenario with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sometimes with a woman, not being my case, that have children, they be doing for them, right? So they manipulate. I ain't doing this for you. You tell them to do it, this, that, and the other, and they don't want to depend on that. Okay, the flip side of that one is, I be used to it. That's how they was trained. That's how they was brought up. Because we were never taught how to be submissive. And I had to learn that since I've been divorced. I said, Lord, I need you to teach me how to be submissive. And I had to go way back to grandma. Did I see her? Did I agree with everything? No, because I didn't. I wasn't used to that. But I knew if my mama was asleep and my daddy got up, he fixed me something to eat. Okay? And I used to like to stand up in the chair and watch him anyway. Okay. But he was going to make sure that I ate. We were going to eat at the same time. Okay. Because I think most of the time, I think he got up early anyway. He would feel something. Because I think I would get him versus her. But see, too, my mama told me, she married just to get out the house. Because they ain't do nothing but beat her and, make her do chores around the house. But the boys could do whatever they wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Double standard,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and that went on till they was grown. And I think it affected my mama wherein she had a sister. My grandmama had a child before she actually got married to my granddad. But Papa, her dad and them, and his wife, they raised her, okay? But with my mama, she stayed there because she was a product of my grandmama and granddad. She said, I ain't never want no split tail gal anyway. And I think that affected her from years, and I think still to some extent that might still do in some type of way. But we wasn't. And I know, I don't think it was like she thought it was gonna be when she got married, even though, hey Kim, my mama being there at the house, and she just felt like that was a fact. I think depression and then other things that came about just to get attention, earlier on, it brought on some other things. But, not getting off the subject, but it something just popped up on the thing. I had me lose my train of thought. But that's the problem. Not knowing how it's supposed to be. Because most women, even with me growing up, oh shoot, my children come first. That's all I heard growing up. They gonna come before a man. Now, do I agree with your man having ribs and steak and stuff and your children don't have? Oh shoot, no. If he good enough to have it, they are too. If they got teeth to eat it, you know what I'm saying? They ain't no little bitty baby on milk. But I don't agree with that. But see, that's where a lot of, I think that comes from. Because my grandmama, I think I talked about this on another show, that I would be up before my granddaddy got up. My grandmama hadn't got up and hadn't cooked, but I couldn't eat until she got my granddad up. He went to the bathroom, washed up, everything came in there and ate. So I couldn't eat until then, and I couldn't understand that. Cause when I get up and I'm hungry and somebody don't feed food, I could eat at my house. But it was different when I went to grandma's house.
I could tell you this, Angela. speaking of that, and I had said this before, I know my sister is looking and my mother. How you doing, Kim Possible? In my, from where I come from, it was my parents, like they did what they supposed to do. They were good, decent parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mother was and is very feminine.
Mm-hmm.
My father was very, quote unquote, alpha domineering, right? He used to could look at you. He used to have some very good eye contact. He could look at you like you think he like this. You think he Jesus, he could look right through you, just be shaking. But anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't bad. But what I'm about to say is this. This is the situation, like, and I have said it before, when it comes to the meal, and it's just simple, and this about priority. And you would talk
Mm-hmm.
about your grandmama and stuff. This is about priority.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to eating, we always going to eat. We always going to eat. But Johnny Toomer, he was going to eat basically before us. Like I said, we were going to eat. You understand? We were going to eat. Ain't no doubt about it. But my mother, her thought process was, which was right, it was husband before the children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could not play my mom and dad against one another. Cause I could tell you like this, if I ask my mama something and she say no, I'm looking for an appeal so I can go to my dad. All I need is one yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go to him and he'll say, "Did you ask your mama?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What did she say? No. Okay, no. I ask him, he say no. I go to her because she's softer, right? She's softer. And then I'm looking for an appeal, but no appeal. But my daddy got the big piece of chicken. You see, he got the breast.
You was
My
the bigger
sister,
person.
he got the big piece of chicken. My sisters and my brother, that breast was looking real good, right? But we got some chicken, but he got the big piece of chicken. But my point is that I learned priority from my father, and I learned priority from my mother. My mother, she was not one of those people that had two heads in the household. My mother and father, they were equal, but yet they understood their roles. You understand like that? That's what that's
They had their
what
own
they
love
understood the
language.
roles. Yeah,
Right.
they understood their roles in the relationship. Now,
Right.
Angela, what if you tell your children that you're about to marry someone and then they say, I disagree. I'm not coming to the wedding.
You
Now the
entitled to
man,
do
the
whatever you
man
want
really
to do.
did nothing to him, but they just, cause you can dislike someone without a cause. You know what I mean? They just say, if you ask him what's going on, I just don't like him. If your child said, look, mama, I love you, but you get married, deuces. What you think? What you think on that?
Let it go. I'd be
Let who
like,
go?
bye. Bye.
You gonna say a junior bye?
I'll tell you, bye. Go to your daddy. But
Okay, now this lead.
but see, I got some different type of children.
Uh
So
huh.
we respect one another and our boundaries. Even with my young son. You know what I'm saying? Only thing he wanna do is what he wanna do, and I like it that he's not a follower, he's more of a leader type. So he makes those decisions. And if I ask him something and I sit him down, he'll talk to me, you know. Um, but other than that, because I want to know his opinion. But at the end of the day, I make the decision.
You use the word boundary, Angela. When speaking of boundary, when it comes to you get to the step parent part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should should a woman or man, in your opinion, should a woman or a man allow their person that is the step parent of the children disciplinary rights? Should that parent have the right to discipline the child?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was a step parent. I did. But even though I had a daughter and I married a male, but yes, I did. And see, the thing is, you don't, because I knew I almost just finished it for you before you got finished. I just let you went on ahead,
Oh, thank you.
because I knew that was gonna be the question. But they should be allowed, and you don't have to beat a kid to discipline them. And I think some of them, but see, um, if they lay hands on me, I might have to jack them up. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna kill them. But most of the time, I never had that problem. I used to love babies and children ever since I was in my teens. And that's my field. That was my field of work that I'm retired from. But they gravitate to me anyway. Even if some in a rage, I can seem to calm them down and just talk to them. Because sometimes you got to know, and sometimes use a little psychology there, get them calmed down, and just find out what the problem is. Because sometimes they have some things bottled up, especially if you come from one. See, I think my sons felt like you taking my daddy away from me. You understand? I think that's how he felt, the younger boy, because I didn't find out about the other one till he got well 15. But him being three and I think he was 3 or 4 when I actually met him when we was talking. So he was young, and it was some jealousy there because my daughter, she was 2. She knew her alphabets and she had recognition. She could recognize them. She was more advanced than he was, and it was some jealousy there, even though we tried to bring them together. But I'm like, y'all playing stuff, and I was trying to see how he interact with her. And because of the different parenting, I think he felt a little intimidated, by her. And he felt like, okay, when I get that, by me having a girl, they already dressed cute. Okay. And when we go pick him up, he looked thrown away. And I'm like, she knew you were supposed to come get him. Why is he looking like that? To the point where I'm like, we gonna either have to go to the store and get him something, because he can't possibly go off with us like this. They are a representation of us. So we got that, and we're a representation of them. How it's gonna look, my child is dressed and he looked like he thrown away. They gonna look at me as the mama, even though I'm not the biological mama. So I got to handle that. And I did. And
Okay.
for a while, my ex took credit for it. Well, I told them they gonna do the same thing they were doing before they got married. I said, hold up, let's get something straight. I'm the wife, you the baby mama. So that means that I made that call. But I'm the one that either made him put clothes on layaway for the child, because he said he wasn't paying them but child support. And that wasn't enough money that she was getting for child support. But I love the child. I would, even as much as being a stepmama, if she didn't have grocery, I was working. I took her to the grocery store. The woman didn't even know how to shop. And I bought her food. Not because of her. I didn't look at it as he'd been with this woman, he slept with her, he got a child. I didn't see it that way. I saw that I'm doing what's best for this child. So it got to the point where he had a brother and a sister that was older than him, and they had their little friends come over. So the friends come over and they eat what I bring. And he calling about the next day or two, he hungry again. So I fixed that. I go pick him up. Thank God we didn't stay too far from each other. Brought him home with me, and I fed him. So
Sister Flo,
it's always one way, and it seemed like the more I did, sometimes she just seemed unappreciative. And I'm like, this ain't gonna be, you can't control nothing.
Angela, Sister Flo said, I did like this guy. He had 10 kids. He said the reason the relationship didn't work is because I didn't like kids. 5 of them were in and out of jail. They constantly wanted fast food, which wasn't cheap. He blamed me for the breakup. I was all the way wondering, was it my fault? The young kid was just too much for me to handle.
Well, it was. And plus, I don't think she looked at that deep, that in and out of jail stuff. That money
Mm-hmm.
coming out of my household. Sometimes they behind need to sit there and think about what they did. Cause I did one of my sons like that. I told him, now look, you know better. Don't go down the same road your grandmama and mama went. And she did time. But he took the fall because they was like, they ain't gonna give you nothing. If I go, they gonna give me time. One of the uncles did that. And he actually caught that case. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then another time he started to get money because I found out he couldn't really read. He had a girlfriend that was teaching him how to read, and he was 15. I'm like, how did this get past them? So he went and he ended up, when he got to the halfway house, he got his GED, which I was proud of him of that. We go visit. But I told him, I said, well, why didn't you call? He said, well, you remember what you told me. He said, you told me if I knew better and I got locked up, don't call you. I said, that's what I meant to.
Well, what you think about this, Angela? Like if a man, children mother doesn't like the woman, or vice versa. You follow what I'm
I don't
saying?
care. I don't care about that.
And they play with the children, and it affect the parent. Like, say for example, like if you dating somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and his woman say, I don't like that. You know what? She talking about
Somebody,
you,
the
but
child mama.
yeah, I don't like that. And they throw all kinds of words. My children, my children, she better not say nothing to my children. She better not, or I'm gonna come over there and whoop her, give her, all that kind of stuff. What do you think? How do you work through a situation like that when the parent don't want the potential person that gonna get married to the former partner? What do you think about that?
I don't even think how some of them already know I am. I don't even think they gonna let me be in the presence if they know that woman don't like me, cause they know it gonna be some words. You know what I'm saying? And then again, now I really have to say that. I have to sit there and look at her for a minute. If she gonna come at me, I'm gonna let her have it. It is what it is.
Okay, we
But
about to
try
close.
not to do that. But see, and I say it probably wouldn't be nothing because 9 times out of 10 the child is gonna be in the presence. And I ain't trying to get no case. But if I do, it's gonna be self-defense.
Okay, let me tell you this. This is very, very important thing that could possibly come up in a relationship. It's called the precious syndrome. You know what the precious syndrome is? This is something that I came up with
I
furthermore.
felt like that because I was going to say, what the world are you talking about?
The precious syndrome. Did you look at the movie called Precious?
I did.
Okay.
It's been a while though.
Okay. Precious mother that was played by the lady, the mama was played by
Yeah.
Monique, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. There was behavior thing that the man that she was dating inflicted on Precious, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
remember Precious, we know the rest of the story, but let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you this. If a child come to the parent and say, for example, let's start with the girl. If the girl come to her mom and say, he touched me, or he said something out of the way, should the mama believe the child or believe the person? How should she come to a decision who to believe? What you think about that?
She need to watch, pay attention, and listen to the child.
What about the man?
She watch it behind, show no clothes.
Okay, the reason why I asked that, Angela, because you should listen to the child, all well and good. What about, what if the child don't like the dad, I mean the man, and the child lie about the man? That's a possibility, you know what I mean? If the
Yeah, it
child don't
is.
like, it's a possibility that the child could lie that the man did something, you know what I mean? So how do you come to a decision to see who is telling the truth?
You just have to watch.
Okay,
Pay
if it's a
attention.
man,
And even
if it's a he know if it okay, Angela,
I'm saying
if
that to watch. Yeah.
the man the man, if it's, this is the scenario, if the man, he's gonna be watching you, so he know not to do certain things in front of you, and when the child come and say he did something, you were not aware of it, because you know what I mean. Because a lot of time the man might not do nothing, why, so you could pick up on it. So how do you know that the child could possibly tell the truth or possibly lying?
Well, you could actually pay. You cannot tell him, affront him with it, and just watch closely. Cause see, at this time, if they don't know I got the information, then they won't be on alert like
So
that.
should the lady,
They'll be a little comfortable.
so should the lady confront the man? Should she confront the man?
Not at that time.
Okay, if she doesn't confront the man, what would the child be thinking?
I would actually talk to the child and tell him what I'm doing and
Okay,
explain.
what if you knew for sure, like Sharon just put the point about pressure, she was raped by the mother's boyfriend and got pregnant. This is some real stuff. It just didn't happen on the movie. It happened in real life. What do you think about a man that violated a woman's daughter and she know it for sure? She know it for sure. Why do some women still stay with the man and she know for sure that the man took advantage of her daughter?
Well, he'll have to go. It's talking about that. He'll have to go. And sometimes it depends on their situation as far as if she got to have a plan to be able to get out.
So if she know for sure, just, I mean, let her talk. If she know for sure that the man have said something out of way and not only said something, but actually touched her daughter, and you know
Well,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, but
What
they
should the woman?
can, I guess, call the police. Let them figure it out.
Well, tell me that, in your opinion, why do you think some women, they know that stuff for sure, but they act like, I mean, they see the red flag and they know it for sure. Why do some women, in your opinion, would they still stay with that man?
The only way I can answer that is maybe because, okay, when the two is one, soul ties, the separation of the soul ties. And on the outside, is I think it's easier looking from the outside. Man, I kill that such you know what I'm saying? That's most reaction. And everybody to the situation act differently depending on if they in that situation versus out. So when you got to figure out a way of what situation is best. Maybe where am I gonna live? Um, what's gonna be safe for my child? Where am I gonna go at this moment? Make a decision whether, okay, you got to get out of here and let me figure this out. or see what's going on, you guys to go.
Okay, what about what about on the flip side?
Oh, you saying if I know or if I don't know?
I
If
was
I
just
know
asking you. I was just asking. Yeah, the woman know for sure that it happened. And this another thing. Not only a daughter, he could actually do something to the son. He can actually do something to the son. You know what I mean? He can go both roads. Is it the same thing? What you think?
Cause I think different than the crazy Angela that was before. That both of them are disturbing. I can't say it'll be anything different. As far as how I would probably try to handle it. I might have to get the folks involved. You know what I'm saying? As far as the children are concerned. But see, this right here too. When I tell men this, and I had told my brother this, when they have girls, yeah, you right, Cheryl. That too. When you dating a woman with a girl, anyway, you need to be careful. I don't believe in them sitting in their lap. You can put them on the side to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I had girls. That's why I say that. So,
While you thinking Cheryl did make a good point, she said that some be afraid because they be paying bills. That's a good point. What Cheryl put.
Well,
But
yeah, that's why I was saying, where me and my child gonna stay. That's why I say, unless you're in that, I don't think you can really just say what you will do. And it might be a reaction, and you probably feel like you shouldn't react it that way. Because the thing is, you got to figure out how to protect my child. That's your number one thing. But it depends on the woman too, because sometimes is where the woman will say, well, she want to hold on to that man because she got this thing in her head what my girlfriend's gonna say this type of thing. I believe what I've seen on TV. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't care what it say, even though if you married to him, I'm sure that would probably be very uncomfortable and embarrassing. But you have to like she was saying, her thing is how I'm gonna protect my child. Where we gonna lay our head, how we gonna eat, how I'm gonna do this, depending on the situation. And some women might be already established to where they can just pick up and go. They might have money saved. You know what I'm saying? And remove themselves until they have all this stuff taken out, the investigation and stuff.
Well, before we get out of here, tell me this, Angela. When it comes to step parenting, should the woman, and I touched on it a little earlier, should the woman get the approval of the children to say, I'm going to, to be with that man or not? Does she have to get the approval of the children?
Some of them have missed their husband because they have. They feel a certain obligation, even grown, to those children. You know what I'm saying? And some of the children are just territorial anyway. I don't want this because you're not gonna be paying no attention. And a good example of that is baby boy.
Yeah.
As old and as grown as he was and had his own baby, he was still immature.
But Melvin said, "This my woman." Melvin said, "This my woman."
Right too.
Yeah, this is my woman. Right. You got the Oedipus complex. You love your mama. This my woman.
Was manipulation, control, because he knew if a man stepped up and came in there, it intimidated him. He didn't have no job for one, and he looking at this man coming in and you taking the territory, you eating up the food, well, he buying the grocery. But see, you can come and do it how you want to when mama him. You know what I'm saying? She gonna talk to you softly and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Children, whether it be a father or a mother, those children will manipulate. I can sniff it a mile away, especially when they are females, because I'm a female. I know how that works. But when it comes to where you got to, and I've had conversations with girlfriends that have gotten married, and the husband is sneaking behind their back, getting them grown for money. Ain't nothing. That's something still both of you should know in the marriage, going in and not. And if they treat me differently before, I already know this ain't it. If I tell you and you can go buy the daughter hair, wigs, and get the nails done and stuff like that, and I'm asking, okay, but honey, can I get my nail done? And you do nothing. I'm seeing now how you gonna take care of me.
Okay, when you said taking care of you, scenario, what if the woman she agreed to marry this man, the man and the children, they have a good relationship, the children are big, but they staying in mama's house, right, with the mama, right? And then he tell the woman, he say, look, your children have a job, and I think if we gonna get married, I think they need to establish themselves somewhere else. What do you think about that? They grown children. Should she tell her children, you need to find somewhere to stay, or you still go wherever mama go, that's where you go?
You let them know ahead of time to prepare, even if they have to double up and do. But if they do have to come, it's gonna be temporary. You understand what I'm saying? And you're gonna have to contribute to the household. Period.
But what if the man say, I just want, now I'm talking about grown, I ain't talking about no small children.
I know what you're talking about. That's
I'm
what I'm talking about.
Grown children that working and stuff like that. But the man say, look, your children are grown. They they self-sufficient. But I want your life and my life to be together. As a matter of fact, we're in Georgia, and I got a job in California, and I want you to move to California with me. The children, what you think about that? We're gonna move to California.
Oh, well, I don't know what y'all gonna do then, but I would try to. I feel like I don't want to say that I would be with a selfish man. We will make sure they are put up, cause these even sometimes adult children do need a little help.
Yes,
You
I
can't.
agree. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So to make sure that they're secure, and y'all got to keep it. Even if we say, well, okay, we'll get you an apartment, y'all stay here, but we'll just we'll pay the deposit, y'all pay the rent, and y'all move in here, but y'all manage y'all money. Y'all got to keep it, or y'all gonna be out. But I'm out. I'm gone.
What? This go for man or woman. What if the man and woman, they got the children in the house, and the children making a good income, but the children are not contributing to the household already, and then you get this man coming in or this woman coming in, and he or she sees that the parent is doing all the taking care of them off his or her dime, and the children got money, but they're not contributing. And then that outside person say, hey, look, you doing all the financial support, and your children are not contributing. They need to contribute to what you're doing, because everything coming out your pocket.
Yeah.
What do you think of a situation like that?
They got to get out ASAP. I even help him find somewhere. You better have your money because you're going to be out of here in such a time.
Sister Betty Johnson said kids keep house and he put me in my house. Okay, good. That I see that.
Wait a minute. But look, no, I had one tell me if I ain't contribute at least 20%, I wasn't gonna have no say so in her.
And Sister Flo made a good point. She said a woman should move in the man's house and give her house to the grown children. You know what? Sister Flo made a good point. Let me tell you like this. This is my thought
He's
process.
supposed to be prepared and set to receive his wife. That's true.
Yes, a man's supposed to go prepare for the woman. Well, tell me this. Just getting a little off, but we're finna close it. Should the man move into the woman's house, Angela, or the woman move into his house? What's your thoughts on that?
I feel like if he got one, I should move in, and that depends. Like I give you for instance, if he shared that with another spouse or so, I ain't gonna want to stay in there. We're gonna have to get a whole nother house.
Why? The spouse gone.
I want my own. No, because I don't want it that they share it with somebody else.
But it's
and
a
I
house.
have my, and plus, most of the time, the way I like a house, I'm sure it's not gonna be what I want.
Okay, what if he said you could get rid of all the furniture, but the house is paid for and honey pot gone, and you just come in? You still don't want to go into it if you get whole new furniture. Why?
And his wife was deceased.
Why?
No, don't want him. And
But
I don't like
Angela,
where it ain't no way.
Angela, you playing dodgeball. Why, Angela? Why?
Because I don't like that side of time, for one. And the next thing is, it's an older house and I want a modern one.
What if it's a modern house and honey pot gone, and you get all the new furniture stuff, and the house is a structure? You still will want to move in that house if the house paid for, and you get new furniture and it's a new house.
I just don't.
You would?
I just don't want them. We had to sell it and give me something else. I want to start over. I want to be able to pick it out. I want to choose
it. You want to choose it.
I want my own domain. I don't want letting nobody else pick out for me, or I got to settle for. I want what I want.
Okay.
I want this. Cause see, I imagine this house. I want it set up a certain. He might have to have me one built.
Okay, but this is the final question, Angela. When a man and a woman, look at what you said, Clorox and Lysol.
That's what I was laughing about. That ain't it. It ain't that it won't be clean. It could be spectacular. I'm just like that. I want to have the luxury of picking it out myself. Or not myself, but I'm saying we choose it together. But I just want my own. And that just could be in my psyche, but I want my own.
Okay.
And some women have and will, and it don't bother them. That it might be an upgrade for them, but I want another upgrade. I'm just saying.
Okay. When a man and woman get together, the man have children prior to meeting this woman, and the woman have children, and the man name is Brady, and the woman come in with her crew, and he come in, and remember the man named Brady. Mm-hmm. So you know what they're gonna be called?
The Brady Bunch.
They're the Brady Bunch.
Yep.
Should the man say I'm your stepfather, or he should say I'm your father? And should the woman say to his offspring, I'm your mother? Or should they just keep it like I'm the step parent? Like if somebody say, like for example, Anthony, you meet someone and they have children already, and y'all get married, and somebody say, Angela, how many children do you have? How would you answer that question?
However many it was, I say I got 5.
Okay. So you got 5 before you meet somebody. That's what you're saying? Oh, okay.
I got 5 after.
Okay, so what you doing? You adding his offsprings in. Bingo. Cause you see, some people they'll ask me, they'll say, how many children you got, Tony? And I give them the
When I
figure.
had 4 at the time. I had 4.
Yeah.
When I had him at 5.
They'll say, Tony, how many children do you have? And I tell them, and they say, well, I thought you had that many. I said, no, I have this many. Then they said, but how many you got? I said, I got, cause you see, my wife, she had some children before we got married, right? So when someone asked me that question, I had some prior to meeting her, right? Mine's grown, hers grown. But when somebody asks me that question, I don't answer them based on what I had before her, right? So I add the sons that she had prior to me into the equation. I just say I had this many sons and this many daughters. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't separate them. I let other people separate. Cause the key thing is, Angie, when we got married, guess what? We became what? One flesh.
But see, even with my stepchildren, they actually blended in. You couldn't tell they wasn't mine because they was talking about the oldest boy looked like me. And the middle boy, he was the baby at the time, looked like my oldest daughter. So, they still today. It's like they don't say step. My daughter don't say step. She called him daddy. That's her daddy. They call me mama. Still, even though they did not like the divorce thing. That older woman talking about y'all gonna get back together. This, that, and I'm saying the devil is a lie. I say I don't make point move, baby. When I made that move, the move out, oh, that was a done deal. I don't do that. But with that, they call themselves brothers and sisters still today, and they grown. Let me see. The 2 boys, they are married, even though one of them separated from here. And my daughter, the oldest one, she married. So the only one ain't, but the younger 2, they're not.
Well, you know what, Angela? I really appreciate you being here tonight because you were requested. I'll let you guess who probably was. Yeah, but anyway, you're gonna come. Hopefully the Lord allow us to get back together again because I really, really enjoyed you being here, Angela. And I love you, sister. I really, really love you. Thank you so much for taking your time. Cause I know you got to do another little thing shortly, but I really appreciate
what I got to do, we do prayer Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9. But see, hopefully we'll have real talk up sometime this year. We did come a couple of weeks. Thank you for come listening in on us at that time too. And we realize it's got to be a part 2 of that.
Well, tell them about Real Talk before we go.
Okay, Real Talk is a mother and daughter. You got two different age groups that don't think alike. Sometimes it's unscripted. We'll talk about what the topic gonna be, but we really don't go into detail. So everything will unfold and it's not scripted. So and we usually hit on subjects most people don't like to talk about. Because the last one we talked about was looking at things from a religious point of view and from what it's supposed to be as far as same-sex relationships. And so we got to dig deep as to where did it come from. Me and my daughter had a disagreement as far as some people say they was born like that. I said they weren't born like that. But see, you'll get stuff like that. We don't always agree. And so we have to go to the word of God. She'll explain how she feel. I'll explain like we be, but we still come together. It's no dispute. You just getting it from two different generations. So we just a team, and we were, you know, she was on a different talk show tonight, and they was doing marriage. So she's on one, she's doing on Wednesdays in One Robbins. And so we just trying to get it together with since she got a new baby and husband too, you know, it's you know, in her schedule. So we gonna try to get it back, and we was asked to do something here too. So we get it
All right,
together.
my brother and sister, thank you all so much for being here. And guess what? Cinderella, my wife, she said, I want you to talk about this topic, Tony. I said, what do you want me to talk about, Cinderella? She said, I want you to talk about this topic. When he or she say, get out. That's what she want me to talk about. When he or she say, get out. I'm going to tackle it more. Now, for those of you who want to know, I didn't tell
Hey,
Cinderella that.
Cinderella.
I didn't tell her. She didn't tell me that. But tomorrow, I'm going to talk about when he or she say, get out. And, you know, different people say it different ways for different reasons. But I'm going to touch it tomorrow. We love you, brothers. We love you, sister. And you know the rest of the story. Peace out.